Welcome to Film School USA, creating Sorority Life. Back in 2002, in June, a new show for MTV called Sorority Life came up and needed the ER editing room. I received an urgent phone call from the executive producer who rushed me in because MTV was not buying the show. More specifically, they were going to pull the plug, possibly giving it to a different production company, and all of the real-world editors who had been working on it would be out jobs. When I first looked at the first episode, the premiere episode, I noticed immediately that the storytelling was off, the characters were non-existent, and the music was awkward at best. Most of these editors were from the real world, which had started years earlier and had created reality TV as we know it. With the entire MTV music library at my disposal, I was like a kid in a candy store. The result? A very successful series that audiences and MTV loved, 3 seasons, 1 spin-off, and a bunch of Greek life imitators on TV. As the show begins, you might want to check out the use of music, which allowed me to tap into the entire MTV music library, meaning I could take a bit of one song and combine it with another song, even if the artists were as opposed as Ozzy Osbourne and Blink-182. As the show progresses, you'll also notice the use of a technique that I borrowed from the movie Matrix. I was one of the first, if not the first, television editor to use what is now called the ramp. Although borrowed by the entire industry today, the ramp was a motivated slow down or speed up of the image to propel the story forward and keep it interesting. I'm the creator of the show's style and the lead editor on the first 10 episodes. This is Richard Arsenault. Thanks for watching Film School USA and enjoy Sorority Life. I'll be back soon.
In the spring of 2002, a group of young women rushed an exclusive sorority at the University of California, Davis. MTV was there to document the experience. Sorority Life follows 6 of the girls through the pledging process during the quarter they spent together living under one roof.
When I first came to Davis, I didn't really see myself being in a sorority because I'd been playing soccer, but I'm a searcher in every aspect of life.
I've never really had like a lot of close girlfriends,
But I always have a boyfriend. I ask anyone.
it's good to get out there with a bunch of other girls and kind of do the things that I haven't really done in the past.
Probably no.
I like them girls. Check it out.
I think the best thing about joining a sorority would be a new way to meet other friends, female friends that have similar interests and class together and help each other out and be kind of a relaxing thing, actually, like a little getaway from school and everyday life.
I've always thought of sororities being something that you would rush directly from, leaving high school, going to university. It's a little intimidating on my part to rush a sorority at this age, but age, I don't have a problem with it. I say I'm a big weirdo, so.
Okay, so first of all, I just want to thank you all for coming again today and taking some time out of your day to go over our rush.
Rush is really important for us because about 10 girls are graduating this quarter, so we really need a great group of girls to carry this sorority into the next year.
Every night, for the first 3 nights, we're going to have a sign-in table, like right here.
When they come up, you greet them first, and then I'll be like, would you mind signing in? Mm-hmm. Okay. Rush is basically when all of the new girls come and check us out, see if they want to pledge. And it's really hectic because we have events every night.
I'll introduce you to a rush, and then you'll be in charge of making sure that she's introduced to other girls.
We're so small as it is. We're 35 strong. And to just get too many people would be overwhelming, and we want to be able to really get to know these girls.
Anything else that you guys have questions on? Okay.
Let's tape it above the...
Hi, I'm Amanda.
Amanda.
Jordan.
I'm Nora. Are you guys excited here?
Hi. Hey, I'm Becca. Nice to meet you.
It just sounds like a good idea for somebody that transfers, I think, because the freshmen here get the dorm life experience and people who transfer don't really get that. And so I think to meet a lot of people, the Greek system is probably a good thing.
What kind of community service do you guys do?
We go to Loaves of Fishes and feed the homeless.
My name is Jessica. I'm Mexican American, and I think that I could bring a different perspective to the sorority.
My name's Dee Dee. I want to get leadership because I didn't get to do that in high school because I tested out of high school at 16.
Hi, I'm Leah. Nice to meet you. And you are?
I'm Jordan.
Jordan.
Nice to meet you.
What year are you guys? Third year. Oh, cool.
When I was standing there and I saw them, and they're all very pretty and blonde and tall, and it was great because it was kind of different than the majority of the girls that we have right now, and the more diversity that we can have within the organization, the stronger that it can be.
You know, these girls come in really nice makeup, they're really pretty, which I think is fine, but I'm a little concerned that some of our other sisters are almost intimidated by that.
Do you guys have any questions right now? Like, what do you want to know about Sigma? I know.
You want to
I
don't know where to begin.
Ask a question.
How do you differ from other sororities on campus?
Well, mostly because we're a Jewish sorority.
Right.
But like,
I'd hate to bring up, but the religion thing, I don't have a religion. Does it bother you if you're not Jewish?
Not at all.
We have non-Jewish members already.
It's not at all.
It seems as though some of these girls showed up just to be on camera, and we don't want them coming in and taking advantage of us because of this opportunity that we got. We want girls interested in our sisterhood. I'm just getting a gut feeling inside that these girls just aren't right.
What year are you?
I'm fourth year.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So you're here is this your last year?
No. I'm gonna be a fifth year. So.
Okay.
I'm just curious, are you Jewish or no?
No.
I'm gonna go get ice cream.
Okay.
Do you guys not want any? It's just, I don't feel that kind of sincere vibe.
I think some people are here just to check out for the night, and that's it.
They're fourth year.
Oh, yeah. No, I know. I agree.
I mean, they may be really nice people, but I still feel like they're not here for the right reason.
agree.
It still leaves questions in my mind whether or not they're playing us and showing that they have interest when really they may not.
These girls are going to want to come strut their stuff for everyone that's around.
Wait, do you want to get laid? I got laid.
We really do have to put the pressure on some of these girls because we have a day to decide.
So that's Act 1. I want you to notice the music style behind the story. In other words, one of the great things to do when you have a great music library and you have a show that's motivated by music, especially rock music or music with a beat, is to lay down the music first and let the music tell the story. Often sound ups are also extremely important, so going from one part of the music with a rhythm track to cutting to a lyric up that's somehow relevant and propels the story, and then back to the music track is something you'll see throughout this episode and the first 10 episodes of Sorority Life. It's interesting, after you've edited a few hundred or a few thousand shows, you'll notice that composers and you are naturally in sync. In other words, there's some sort of inherent rhythm of storytelling that synchronizes with the inherent rhythm of music storytelling. Check it out.
Okay, so first of all, I just want to thank you.
Today, no matter what I'm editing, I will lay out the basic building blocks of story first, followed immediately by music at the very beginning of my edit. Other editors will wait until the first rough cut and second rough cut and third rough cut had been viewed by producers and then start adding music at that point. Now, when the music choices are wrong, that actually is helpful to the executives who don't have to listen through the music to get to the story they're trying to approve. But if you know what you're doing, laying in the music first will drive the story forward, sell it, and get you far fewer notes if you're a professional editor, and get you much higher ratings if you're a creator. You should try it yourself. Now here's Act 2. Character and storytelling is paramount. Traditionally, in a 3-act story structure, Act 2 is where your protagonist faces a problem. For instance, in The Empire Strikes Back, which was Act 2 of the 3-part original Star Wars series, Irvin Kershner told me that he had to make it dark, he had to make it scary, and he had to make the audience nervous. And the result is deep and compelling story and character development. In Act 2, your characters have a lot to lose, and the story gets interesting, and the tension will propel you forward into Act 3, the conclusion of your 3-act traditional structure. Now, in television, acts are broken by commercial breaks, at least on broadcast television. And in fact, there's usually 4 acts in a half-hour show. But by creating story arc, your characters have a lot to win and a lot to lose. Here's Act 2.
Are we just talking or should I get stuff to write? Just talking.
And we need to shut the door. Okay, so let's talk about the general feeling and the new girls from tonight and what we think.
Yeah. A lot of the girls I didn't feel like were Jewish. I didn't feel like they were even here for a very passionate reason. Like I just didn't get the vibe from them, and so that's what really concerned me. It wasn't as, it felt
maybe as genuine as it was.
Genuine, like not as sincere.
I definitely second Stacey. I think seeing the new faces, I did not get a good feeling, and I don't know if it was like judging a book by its cover, but to hear that lots of them were third years, I was like, all right, we've been around for a while, and I heard of one of the ways that the girl heard about it, and I just, she knows people in the fraternity house next to us, and last night she was going there, and obviously she saw the cameras, and that's why she came back.
I think we need to put more pressure on them to ask them questions. Why are you here? How did you hear about us? Why do you want to join? Are you Jewish?
I definitely see what you guys are saying. However, they are just covers right now. We don't know their books, so to speak, and I'd really like to have some kind of conversations first. I believe for the most part that these girls are genuine, and that even if they came for the wrong reasons, they might stay for the right reasons.
I think we really do have to put the pressure on some of these girls because we have a day, 2 days, to decide if they're for us.
All I know is that we didn't get maybe the opportunity to as much sit down and be, sit and say, so how'd you hear about us, and talk for longer periods of time. But at this point, you have to be open.
We've always said that we would take anybody and people choose us rather than us really choosing them. And I don't think that I felt comfortable turning anybody away.
As like much as I don't want to say, are you Jewish? What's your affiliation? I just think that maybe we should.
Yeah, definitely.
That makes me uncomfortable. I think getting to know them as people is a lot more important. I mean, that would really concern me if we start coming up with criteria.
But also, there are girls that are definitely here just to be on camera, so I think that's definitely different. I don't want to be a part of an organization that starts coming up with you need to have this, 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 and this. I'm feeling pretty upset and discouraged about what's going on because I see Sigma turning into something that it's not.
I came to Davis from Maryland because I was recruited to do gymnastics here. I had to quit gymnastics because I blew out my knee and actually had knee surgery, so I decided that maybe I should do something else. I decided to rush Sigma because I thought it would be a good way to meet a lot of girls and to have people to really start going to events and things with.
College is about finding out who you are, discovering yourself, and what a great opportunity to do it with joining a sorority. I'm rushed in the sorority to create bonds and that whole sisterhood unity that we probably wouldn't find somewhere else.
I didn't think of joining a sorority before this because I came as a transfer student, 19, and I really didn't know what a sorority was. I had the vague idea of it, but I didn't know what Rush was. I didn't know what Pledge was. If I didn't meet some friends already in this, I wouldn't have known.
You know how you and I are like, when we first met and we were like, no, screw sororities, whatever.
Burn him down.
I never thought I would join a sorority ever. However, I'd previously met a lot of the girls in the house before even the whole rush week, and they've always been very accepting.
What did you think of the girls last night?
I thought they were very nice. I've met a lot of them already, and I've met Leah. She's the president. She's awesome.
I've never had a positive outlook on sororities. I've thought that they're like spying your friends. Brenda, my roommate, told me that they had a lot of fun, and so I'm kind of, okay, well, these girls seem cool. Tonight I'm going to my first pledge event, giving it a chance, and hopefully they'll give me a chance.
Aloha! I'm really, really excited about the luau because it has a theme and we all get to dress in cool outfits.
Tonight, I have a feeling that more girls are gonna show up, especially because it's a luau. There's gonna be guys there, guys that always draw attention. So these girls are gonna wanna come, strut their stuff for everyone that's around.
You guys like laid?
Do you want to get laid? I got laid.
We got 4 new ones.
How's that going?
So, I haven't seen.
Who's new? I'm Alexa. Nice to meet you, Mara.
I'm a third year, I'm a sociology major, and I'm from Bethesda, Maryland.
And then Lisa, I know, she goes out with a friend of mine.
My name's Lisa. My major is international relations.
And then Carrie is her friend.
My major is English, and I have 1 more year to go.
And Candace is Brenda's roommate.
What happens during the pledge period?
During the pledge period, every Wednesday you'll be having a meeting and then an event afterwards. It's a lot of fun. I mean, like, the meetings are just so that you can get to know Sigma a little bit better and just so you can, like, become familiar with the organization and stuff.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's cool.
In spring.
In our meeting, we came up with that we wanted to ask all of the rushes questions about who they were and why they wanted to join. So we're going to try and understand why they're here.
So how did you hear about Sigma?
That's just science and word of mouth.
So do you go to any halal events? Are you Jewish?
Yeah, my family.
Cool.
Like my grandparents, but my parents were kind of like, when they raised us, they're just like, do it, do what you want. They weren't real strict about it, but my grandparents are all great. My favorite sport.
Are you both Jewish?
Yeah.
Cool. Very cool.
Towards the middle of the night, they started to ask directly if you were Jewish or not, and I'm not Jewish, and so very few of the girls had any interest in talking to me at all, and just kind of not as good as a vibe as when you first got here.
There are a handful of girls that I'm very skeptical about.
I know that other people have felt that way.
You have to be aware that there's going to be consequences as far as the sisterhood is concerned. Some of them feel so incredibly strongly about this. We're going to have a bunch of girls down our throats.
I would not be happy if they joined the sorority.
We're getting girls that aren't like the girls we've gotten in the past.
I'm so frustrated because there's nothing I can do. Someone has to back down.
My apology is that her last syllable was clipped. It wasn't like that in the broadcast version. I actually have higher quality masters in storage that I'm going to be digging up and repurposing. But in the meantime, please enjoy this lower resolution version. Now, you'll notice at the end of Act 1 and Act 2, there's something called a tease. The way the audience knows it's a tease, in this case, is that it's put behind or on top of a mortise, a background. But generally speaking, teases are very common in broadcast television. Teases become particularly obvious and annoying when you're watching a half-hour show or an hour show that's repurposed for streaming services like Netflix or Prime Video. And you can actually judge the quality of a tease based on that as well. Teases should not just simply be a regurgitation of what opens the next act. In most cases, teases should actually give you compelling information that gets your mind thinking, and then when it's finally revealed in the act that follows, gives you an aha moment that you, the editor, and the production are in sync. You'll notice that because this is Act 2, we can't end on a positive note. It has to end dark, suspicious, scary, and tense.
In spring.
Compelling, concern, tension, and unresolved issues that compel you and force you to watch Act 3. If you feel satisfied at the end of Act 2, you've done your job wrong. But if your audience stays or even builds in Act 3, you've got yourself a hit. Here's Act 3.
I'm so tired. I couldn't sleep and woke up at 9:30, so I'm on like 6 hours of sleep.
I was supposed to get sleep last night. Probably didn't happen so much. So.
Some of the preconceived notions about sororities that I had was just that they were superficial and not something that I want to be a part of and wouldn't be welcoming, and it was actually quite the opposite.
I was expecting what you see on TV, typical sorority girl, which is why I've actually stayed away from it the 2.5 years I've been here so far. All I know is while I was there, I forgot about everything else that was going on in my life. And the girls are really sweet, and it's not exactly what I expected.
I'm Becca, and I am Pledge Master. First of all, I'm sure you've all looked at the lovely house, and I just want you all to know that this is going to be the Pledge House. 6 people will be chosen to live here. Obviously, you received an invitation here, which means you're one step closer to our inductions, which is our invitation to begin pledge period. This is a good time tonight. It's going to be kind of mellow, really kind of more intimate than last night, to get to know more of the sisters and the organization, ask your questions, get some of those answers tonight. Find out if this is really the place that you feel comfortable, if it's the right time for you.
This is so beautiful. Yeah. I didn't know anyone when I moved here.
It's definitely like its own little community.
Everyone kind of knows everyone.
Yeah.
Rush is always really hard because you have a few days to get to know girls well, and that's just impossible. I mean, you can't get to know in depth someone in that amount of time. That's what Pledge is for. I don't like having to exclude anyone, but I also feel very strongly that we are an organization that has certain values that I think it's very important that people represent.
My concern is I don't want to use this as an opportunity to become a different organization.
I understand that.
You cannot define a stigma. We've had this conversation before, but I think that you do know when you see one. You know?
I could not disagree more. I mean, this is the reception I got when I joined, you know, and that's why it really hurts me to hear that because
What's the reception?
no, people didn't like me when I joined. Leah liked me, Rachel liked me. I mean, it took girls months to warm up to me. Months. I'm having such a hard time with this because I see myself as being one of the girls, if I rush this quarter, that would not be coming back.
No.
You don't know me when I pledged. You don't know me when I pledged.
That's different from someone who doesn't know what Hillel is, who doesn't know what Shabbat is, didn't even know how to pronounce the word. I mean, we're looking at really different things, and
But that makes us exclusive, doesn't it? I mean,
we're being exclusive this quarter.
Typically, when we rush other quarters, we get many more Jewish girls, and the non-Jewish girls we do get are connected to the Jewish community. So we are having a quarter that's not like all other quarters, and we're getting girls that aren't like the girls we've gotten in the past.
I'm so frustrated because there's nothing I can do. Someone has to back down, and no one's gonna back down.
In reference to like number 9, number 12, I'm just feeling that maybe they're not really who we want to represent our sorority.
I just don't think that I feel comfortable saying, no, I'm not going to vote for this person because maybe they acted or looked a different way than what we're used to. That's not what we've ever said before.
15.
I was told by a sister, like, it was as far as if this girl and someone else are in the organization, she's not even sure it's an organization she can be part of. So I hate to be this cynical, but people say things that they think we want to hear. I'm worried that she's saying what she knows we want to hear.
Anyone who isn't really genuinely wanting to be here, as soon as they get into pledge period, they're gonna decide it's not for them. So I would rather let them make that choice and not have us become the exclusive organization that I'm concerned that we're moving towards.
I think we need to decide tonight, here and now, whether or not they're getting in.
Okay, and we want to do this by blind ballot.
Majority rule.
We're giving the Rushies a bid tomorrow night, and that's how they'll know that they're invited to come to our induction ceremony and be a pledge in the sorority.
I'm definitely not neutral with this. We're bidding them to become a part of the sisterhood. This is when they get to know the sisters. And if these girls, they want to leave, them, they can leave.
If I had to bet on whether or not I'm gonna get in, I would say probably not.
If they don't come through with if I don't end up being a pledge, then I'm gonna wanna know why.
On the next Sorority Life.
This is an invitation to be a pledge. No drugs or alcohol within the house. Boys must leave the house by 11.
I think the house rules are stupid.
They suck. I would have no problem kicking these girls out if they're not right for the sisterhood.
So I hope you've learned something. Thank you for watching. There's a lot of amazingly talented producers and writers and editors on this show. I just happen to be the lucky one to be able to do the finishing touches, create the style, and help drive the characters forward to the point where people actually loved the show. And I love the people today who say this is one of the better reality shows in MTV history, and they prefer this style of storytelling over the new, rather heavily produced and non-reality based interpretations of today. But hey, to each his own. Your final homework assignment is to subscribe to this channel. It's extremely important for us and for yourself as a viewer to please click on that subscribe button and add your name to the list. This channel is going to grow very quickly. Thank you.